Hi there, it's Michael Robertson, Online Education Faculty Coordinator. I am putting together a quick, to-the-point video that will help you incorporate video content into your Canvas course. You may have heard recently, we now have access to Canopy, Films on Demand, and Swank, which are three streaming platforms that have loads of films and documentaries that can be straight imported right into Canvas for our usage. So this video will show you how to do that for each different one very quickly. First step, in order to access these different databases, we need to go to Long Beach City College Library. I find the simplest way is to just click on Academics from the front page, click Library, scroll down to Research Tools and Collections, and then search our academic databases. You might want to bookmark this page for reference. It's lbcc.libguides.com. And this will take us to an A through Z list of these different databases that we have access to. So let's begin with Canopy. If we click on K, Canopy appears. And now look, it's going to ask us to log in with our ID and our last name, as opposed to email or Canvas where it's a password. This is our last name. And here we are taken to the Canopy streaming service. And within this, you can do a search for videos or subjects, or you can browse through this home page. I'm going to search for my discipline, anthropology. And let's see, anthropology and human diversity. Let's check this one out. And so let's say that this is something that I'd like to offer my students or screen for my students. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to share and click embed. And then there's this garbled up code, which I'm going to select all of it and I'm going to copy it. And I'm just going to keep that copied for just a moment as we switch on over to Canvas. Because let's say I'm presenting content in a Canvas page. So I have Canopy video in a page. When I click on this, okay, I have a blank page now. I'm going to edit. And then I'm going to click into my empty text box. Now I'm going to use this button right here, or insert/edit media. And you'll notice three tabs here. That second one is our key, embed. Because remember, we just copied the embed code from Canopy. So I'm going to click in this little box and I'm going to paste. Click OK. And voila. So just to see what it looks like, we click Save. And this is what your students would see. Now, of course, I would highly recommend typing up some instructions or maybe even some viewing questions as opposed to just having a video floating by itself in the page. But if you press play, it will begin to stream. Okay, just like that. And that is all you would need to do for Canopy. Now, if a student is viewing, they may have to log in with their ID and their last name, but that window would appear right here on this page. So, Canopy done. Let's move over to Films on Demand in a page. So, I'm going to open a page for this. Okay, Films on Demand. And switch back to my database. So I'll close out Canopy, and I will click the F to find Films on Demand. Click on that. Here we go. So here I can browse around and see what sort of content might work best in a particular lesson or an assignment. Let's just say, for example, I find one. I haven't seen it, but let's say a Texas myth. Okay, so I'm going to retain this title as I switch back over to Canvas, because look, this is a slightly different process than Canopy was. I'm going to click this button right here. Looks like a V. It says More External Tools. And when I click on that and scroll down, look, there's Films on Demand right here. So when we click on this, Films on Demand info base is part of Canvas. So all I would need to do now is type in a keyword or phrase to find the film that I want. So this is called a Texas myth. That's what I'm going to type in, a Texas myth. It takes a second or two. And for some reason, it's not showing up. Oh, here it is, a Texas myth. So now we have this option right here to simply embed. So we can embed the URL, which is just a link. We could embed a small video, a medium video, or a large. Let's do a large just to see how big that is. Okay, and here we have it. So now when I click Save, right here, we have the Film on Demand embedded right into our Canvas page. And again, I would recommend providing some instructions or some guidance or questions along with this video instead of having it by themselves. Okay, last but not least, we have Swank. And for this example, Swank video, I'm going to show what it's like to have it embedded in a discussion forum. Swank is a little bit different than the previous two. It starts off the same. We go back to our library database, we click the S, and then we find Swank Motion Pictures. Okay, and I've seen that this is more so feature films as opposed to documentaries, but perhaps if something suits your class and it's something you want your students to view, then here's the process. So let's say I find a film that I want to screen. I'll just click on that film. Okay, click Watch. Okay, and then below the film itself is this Share button. I'm going to click on that, and you have two choices. I prefer the Copy LMS link. Since I'm putting it into Canvas LMS, I just think it looks a little nicer, but it really doesn't matter. But I'm going to copy the LMS link, and then I'll go back to my discussion forum in Canvas, click in my text box, and then I'm going to click on the HTML editor. Nothing really changes much, but I'll click back in that text box, click Paste, okay, go back to Rich Content Editor, and there's a simple hyperlink right here. So when I save this, here's what we have, and again, you want to provide further instructions. Don't just post a mystery link here, but when students click on this link, they will then be taken to Swank streaming through the library, and they will view the video there. Okay, so a different process in the embed and external tool for Canopy and Films on Demand. The last but not least option is YouTube. And this isn't new. This is something we've had access to since YouTube, but I just want to walk you through that very, very briefly. So if I want to put a YouTube video in an assignment, this is something I do regularly, whether it's my own YouTube video or whether it's someone else's content that I think fits well in my class. So I'm going to create an assignment, click Edit, and then click in the text box. There is a YouTube tool right here. Honestly, I don't really use that. I find the search tool this way a little bit difficult to use. So rather, what I will do is just go to youtube.com, and I'm going to go and search for something that would fit well in my class. For this example, I'm going to search for anthropologist Jason de Leon. And there he is, and there's a handful of, quite a few videos actually featuring this anthropologist. But in the spirit of accessibility, I want to make sure that the videos I use are closed captioned, and not just the automatic ones, the accurate closed captions. So to do that, look, I'm going to click here on Filter, and under Features is Subtitles and CC. That stands for closed captions. I'm going to click on that. Now YouTube will only show me videos that have accurate closed captions. Okay, so I'm going to go for this first one, just a few minutes long. And look right there, you see the accurate closed captions reflected at the bottom. So that's exactly what I want to see. So to put this into my Canvas assignment, I'm going to click this Share button down at the bottom. And then look, we have a couple options here. Now there's just a straight hyperlink, which is fine. I prefer to go for the embed, just because I think it looks a bit sharper and cleaner in a Canvas page. So we have this, again, long URL. I'm just going to select the whole thing and copy it. Then I'm going to go back to Canvas, okay? And then I'm going to click this Insert Embed Media one last time. And then do the second option for embed. And then I will paste that code into it. Click OK, and there's our video. When I click Save, there it is, right in the page. When students click the play button, they will watch it within Canvas, as opposed to being navigated out of YouTube. And of course, for the last time, you want to make sure to include instructions, guiding questions along with these videos, not just a video sitting there by itself. Students might not know what to do. Okay, so just to very briefly recap, we went over using Canopy, Films on Demand, Swank, and accessible YouTube videos. And for reference, Canopy, Films on Demand, and Swank are already closed captioned, so you are good to go on that front. It's just for YouTube, you want to do that extra little step of adjusting the search criteria, and you are good to go. So remember, you can access these all through the Long Beach City College library and lbcc.libguides.com. And if there are any questions, feel free to shoot me an email at mrobertson@lbcc.edu. And thank you for tuning in.